ಲೇಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಯೋಚಿಸ್ತೀನಿ.
Hi, Sushant.
ಸರ್
Hello, sir.
Sir, ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ?
Yeah, I logged in. Okay, I'll be on mute. Okay.
Sir, your
Once
voice
it
is
is ready, I'll join. Yeah.
Hello.
All are ready, I will join. Yeah.
दो बजे चालू करती है
चालू नहीं हुआ है, just now.
मीटिंग बीइंग रिकॉर्डेड बोल रहे हैं
चेयर चेंज कर लीजिए सर।
हैं?
चेयर चेंज।
तो ये पीछे कैसे चले गया?
नहीं पीछे नहीं किया, उधर इधर वाला हो जाएगा, वो वाला आपको दे दे रहे ना।
नहीं, ये पीछे कैसे चले गया? अच्छे
मेरा फाइल निकाल। पंकज यार, उसमें मेरा एनपीएस का नंबर लिखा हुआ होगा। एनपीएस लेके आ, लिखा था।
Hello, good afternoon to everybody.
Welcome, CA.Vinay ji.
Thank you, Sarji. Thank you very much. He says Indu Chatrat.
Yes.
Okay, is that correctly I spell your name?
Chatrat.
Chatrat. Okay, thank you. Namaste Devanji. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you. So Saturday afternoon, just everybody must have finished your lunch now, or maybe few may not be have finished also.
ठीक है, आप अपना क्लास करो, वो काम हम करके जाएगी थोड़ा देर से।
So, what we do for these group discussions is, since it is a very interactive session in general, so we generally request the initiator, the speaker, to take it in whatever manner he wants to, whether in the question answers format or he speaks for an hour and then take it as a question answer. Anyway, the way you want. And we will start uh, at 2:05 or whenever we see that the number of participants is 20, which has already happened. So we will be starting whichever is earlier. So since we can see second 19, anyways, since we have, we'll now start. So, friends, a very good afternoon to one and all present here, including, of course, the initiator of the day from Bengaluru, CA.Vinay Thyagaraj. I can also see the mentor of the group discussion committee of SEAE, who is also past president of SEAE, CA Indu Chhatrat. So, friends, welcome to this session on RERA. Before we proceed, I would request everyone to please rise up for the ACAE motto song. ACAE, start করলাম program. Vinay. Thank you, friends. Friends, today we have CA Vinay Thyagaraj from Bengaluru, who is an expert on RERA, has experience of more than 25 years, who has authored and co-authored many books on Maharashtra and Karnataka RERA law and practice manual published by Taxman. He writes regular articles on RERA in Case, CAA, Tax Guru, appears, delivered talks on regional TV channels, All India Radio, also writes in various journals and newspapers, has spoken on various forums as speaker, as panelist, as moderator. Is a governing council member of National Real Estate Development Council, National and Karnataka, Bangalore Apartment Federation. He's also a former GC member of the Bangalore Apartment Federation. He's also a trustee at Nele Foundation, an NGO that serves more than 4,000 plus destitute children with its 12 centers, which is a social cause. So we are really grateful to Vinay ji for taking out time from his busy schedule and uh, helping us to be updated on RERA. Friends, we have another formality before we proceed. And since this is an e-platform, so you would like to share the e-memento of the speaker with him. So here is your e-memento, sir. I'm sure it is visible.
Thank you so much. Very nice. Yeah.
So, friends, before we proceed further with the today's program, I would just like to update you that on 7th of February 2026, Saturday, the ACAE along with the Bombay Chartered Accountants Society is holding a full day conclave on Union Budget 2026 for, of course, the Income Tax Act, and the program will be held at Williams Court, 40 Shakespeare Sarani. So I will also share the program chart in the chat box. And before we proceed, I would request the mentor of the group discussion committee, CA Indu Chatras, who is a past president of ACAE, to please address the gathering. Are you there, Indu sir?
Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, Mr. CA.Vinay ji. It's a pleasure to have you here on a very important subject, RERA. Everybody has so many questions and so many points where they want like to more clarification on that. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time and to be with us this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that brief address. And of course, your blessings always guide us to conduct more programs which will be of help to the members of the ACAE. So, with this, over to the initiator of the day who would take us through the important judgments and whatever important updates he feels would be important for us to know. So, over to CA Vinay Thyagaraj ji.
Okay. Thank you so much, the ACAE. And I should further extend thanks to Debanji for reminding me that you are not in Kolkata for the RERA session in 2025. I was there in December 2024, 2025 somehow missed. So probably this is January being the, you can consider this session as part of 2025 itself. And I love to share all my knowledge, experience, and also whatever I know to certain extent on the real estate and the RERA. Further, I like ACAE because you have a motto. The motto is something which direct everybody's thinking, everybody's action, and also their knowledge towards what is the motto of the ACAE. Further, I love about e-momento. So probably this e-momento is like a something which is new to me, new experience. Thank you so much, and it's a good creative initiative of ACAE. I loved it. So with this small my acknowledgement to ACAE, I start looking at and I start have this session as much as interactive, because I know Saturday second half, that too immediately after the lunch. Probably few may not have a lunch also. I don't know. They're all switched off their cameras. They may be having a lunch also. I'm sure that I request whoever not having a lunch, whoever it's okay to switch on the camera, please switch on the camera. It's very, very difficult to talk to a screen, to a computer. Okay. So I like to have as much as interactive, as much as lively, because always I feel that what it is not that what I know to be delivered. I always believe that what you want, I wanted to talk to you, what you want, I wanted to share with you is what always is a value addition for the program and the session. And I'm sure that few of my known friends are also there. I can see Rohit. Rohit, I don't know. This Rohit is our ARS. Is a ARS Rohit? I've seen Pinky and I've seen Gopal Loda. They're all like a very good friend of mine. And we frequently often interact on various aspects of the real estate. So how do you want me to go? I have about 60, of course, 60 is something which I try to compress about my presentation. I quickly run through the presentation for 10, 15, 20 minutes and then we'll start interacting. Okay. And probably if you don't have a question, I will raise a question to you. Okay. And how and what do you, what is that you will do and how do you do in the scenario situation? So before that, I just wanted to understand. We have about 33 participants, and all these participants are with some professional or even from the industry, like you are a chartered accountant, advocate, builder, developer, accountant, engineer, licensing. I just wanted you to put it in the chat box. What you do. What you do, please put it. Okay, fine then. Whatever is there, you please, whoever able to join through the, okay, share your views in the question. Who you are, like, so that it set that tone for me also. If you are a CA, you are a lawyer, if you are a businessman, you are a developer. So I want you to put so that easy for me to understand. I can see Rohit says that I can't switch on the camera. Perfect, no issues, Rohit. So just I wanted to know, don't send me personally, you send it everyone also, so everyone can also see that what you do. Okay. Prajatak Patil is CA, you are from Kolkata. Also mention which place you are. Somebody may be Siliguri, somebody may be from other places. Whatever you put it, I can see the CA. Sujit is there, Sneha CA is there. And okay, Mumbai. Okay, good to know. Good. Who else? From where? CA and advocate Rohit both are here. Okay. Anybody else? From what do you do? Which Risha Agarwal from Kolkata? Thank you. CA from Kolkata. Then anybody from the builders? Any from you from the developers? Kolkata. CS management trainee from Kolkata. Very nice. Nice to see. And the training itself, you have some passion towards to know something about RERA. Good. Then company secretary also has a role to play in RERA. Good afternoon, Hamid ji. What do you do? You can mention. Fine. So let me quickly go through the presentation and I will take up the hope the screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Is visible?
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Much better.
Yeah. So today's topic is revolve under two things: important compliances under RERA and interesting judgments under RERA. I'll try to touch upon both. Okay. So we should know the some of the laws for the property laws evolved over 150 plus years, and still it has valid, still it is existence, still the provisions of this are very, very important for us to do a real estate transaction. So these are some of the laws which are very, very important. We should know when we trying to understand about the law related to the real estate, that to the RERA. Because what I'm trying to tell you is 1872 is a Contract Act, still it holds good. And 1882 is a Transfer of Property Act. Remember, 144 years back, the Transfer of Property Act is written, still it holds good. Not much amendment to it. Unless what we see is a GST income tax every day, every week, every quarter, every year, there is an amendment. But such amendments are not there in this act. That's the beauty of these acts. So that's what I'm trying to tell you for us to understand and appreciate about the real estate. So always I say, when we say about RERA, from where should I listen? How do I listen RERA? How do I look at RERA as my way of understanding. How do I do it? Okay. And there is a survey. There is a survey made by a student who is doing the PhD, and the outcome of the survey is surprising. We know that where there are various stakeholders under real estate, it may be a builder, developer, landowner, government, tax authorities, bankers, lenders, vendors, service providers, and finally the customers, right? And there was a survey made. Survey says who is more trying to evade, avoid, not willing to know about RERA. Whom can you think? One part of the stakeholders, one community of the stakeholder is not willing to follow what is written in RERA. That is a survey talks about. Generally, when we ask this question, it says developer, obviously, right? Okay, that's how it looks, that's how it's, but surprising is it is the customers, it's the allottees, it's the home buyers. That is the surprising. They are not aware of the RERA, not willing to know about RERA. If RERA is also there, they do not want to follow what is there in RERA. So that is a surprising aspect of this. Even though this law is a preventive, the legislation has brought with an intention to protect various stakeholders, but it looks like it is a protection to an allottee, that's the home buyer. But it is not only that, it under the act, there is a protection to everybody, but predominantly in order to protect the allottees, and we call it as home buyer, customers, we collectively call it as a allottee under the act. So in order to protect them, this act is enacted. That is how it's a bigger picture for us. So when we talk about RERA, we should remember these objectives, these objects, because if we do not have the remembrance of these objectives, we do not appreciate this act itself. That is the important aspect, because wherever I present my presentation, always I say every provision of the RERA trying to achieve some of this objective or at least one objective. There is no provision of RERA without achieving this objective. So if RERA, if any of the provision is very harsh, then you should come back and see whether it trying to achieve this any of the objective, then yes, that provision is correct, right? That's how you should look at in terms of the act. So I also wanted to invite, always remember this, in real estate transaction, it holds good to have these objectives so that the transaction will be protected, not the parties to the transaction. In the real estate, if you're trying to protect the transaction, all will be safe. Everybody will come out with the flying color. If you're trying to protect one category of a person and trying to not protect another person, then the transaction cannot be completed, will not be completed. So everybody will be in a soup and end up with litigation. So that is what is always we should remember about it. And also I told, so in entire India, WB RERA and Kerala are different. West Bengal and Kerala both are different. Both were not accepted the central enactment when it is implemented, but immediately Kerala took back. Like a West Bengal RERA were there, WB HERA was there. Similarly, in Kerala also there was a separate enactment by Kerala, but somehow in the same year of the enactment, they have withdrew that and they adopted the central government act. But in West Bengal, it ended up with withdrew this WB HERA by a direction and a decision of a Supreme Court. We'll also see that in the subsequent slides. So when we talks about important compliances under RERA, I'm sure that now we are in 2026. It's almost 10 years of journey of RERA. Probably we would have been heard about RERA in multiple occasions, in multiple programs, multiple scenario, and even on the every newspaper, every day you look at some or other aspects related to the real estate. It need not to be RERA. ED has what they say that arrested few builders. ED has blocked. ED has frozen some of the bank account, some of the properties. Okay, why ED will come for that? Why police will not come? Where will we see ED always? Enforcement director. Before police comes, ED will come into this industry. Have you seen any other industry? ED will come before any other department comes. I just wanted to know. Before GST come, before tax authorities come, before bankers come, before police come, before CBI comes, ED will come to this industry. Do you think any other industry has this scenario in your experience? Probably no. But this is the only industry. The first enforcement is from the enforcement director because of the financial, not only mismanagement and the diversion of funds, where enforcement director will come. Generally, that will happen in a banking transaction, banking industry that will happen. But bank is a highly regulated. Every day, every week, every quarter would be highly regulated. That is the reason we see very less in terms of banking ED involvement. But real estate is something which we deals with the public money. It's a public money. When the public money is involved and PMLA is applicable, exactly, Mr. Manoj, and it is called proceeds of the crime if you do not utilize for the purpose which is collected from the public, that is from the customer. That is why ED will come first than any other enforcement or any other regulators. So we should remember the importance of this business, importance of this real estate transaction. It is not only me knowing, we should also update, apprise our customers and also who will be part of this industry. Having said, so some of the compliances which is there in RERA, also wanted to share. Probably RERA has a very unique legislation compared to any other legislation. The reason being is real estate is the second largest industry after agriculture. First largest contribution to the revenue to the government. Second largest employment creator after agriculture. But in spite of that, we did not have a regulator to regulate this industry. That is a very sad part of it. It took 70 years for a government, 70 years for a government to enact, to bring some regulator to this industry. For whatever be the reason, I am not complaining that why not, but it took 70 years to bring regulators to this industry in spite of second largest agriculture, after agriculture in terms of employment, in terms of GDP contribution, first largest in terms of the revenue to the government. There is a survey made, 40%, up to 40% of the revenue will go to the government. It will be a surprise. I'm not talking about the profit, 40% of revenue of the transaction. That means, say, if a customer pay 1 lakh rupees, up to 40,000, it may be 30, 35, 40,000 rupees, up to 40,000, it will be for a government. In terms of the land conversion charges, change of land use charges, approvals, NOCs, JDA, registration charges, stamp duty, property taxes, income tax, GST, and municipal taxes. If you put all of that in this industry, up to 35 to 40% of the revenue to the government. So who is the highest beneficiary? We feel always builder is the beneficiary, but the government is a beneficiary out of this transaction of a real estate. When that is the case, do we think that government will allow this industry for non-performing? Absolutely no, because 8 to 9% one industry is performing is of out of 400 different industries which is exist. Only one industry complementing 8 to 10% of the GDP is a very large versus average less than a percent contribution by any other industry other than agriculture. That is the beauty of this industry, and which was unregulated over 7 decades. And in the last 10 years, there is a regulator which has come, which is Real Estate Regulation and Development Act of 2016. The Act of 16 of 2016, which is enacted from 1/5/2016, and which is mandatory for the entire states in India, including Jammu and Kashmir. We should remember it is applicable to Jammu and Kashmir also, because all along we used to read excluding Jammu and Kashmir. This act is applicable to even to the Jammu and Kashmir. So that is the importance of this. When we say there is an act, there is a statute, I'm sure that there would be some compliances. There is some of the important aspects for the government to regulate. RERA is also a similar. There is no exception to it. So let's go through the compliances and RERA. Friends, in my practice of 25 years, the smallest act which I have seen is only the RERA. It has just 92 sections, probably about 10 to 12 pages. That's all is about RERA, not more than that. But it regulates the entire second largest industry of a real estate. The most unregulated industry in India is real estate, which regulates with this 92 section with just a 10 pages or a 12 pages of the provisions of the RERA. So the most beautiful part of it, 10 years, second largest, applicable to everybody, entire state, entire India. There is not even single amendment to this act. That is the beauty of it. There is no amendment to this act. Imagine what would be the aspects in any other statute where it impacts the entire country, entire stakeholders, second largest, there is no amendment. Probably I haven't seen in my career without amendment any other act for the decade, 10 years, which applicable, which as with the, which is as a part and parcel of everyone's life. So that is what is beauty of this act, and the compliances start from the very important compliances. I'm sure that in last 10 years, if you are a practitioner, you must be knowing about it. If you are a builder, you must be following it. If you are a buyer, probably would have been understood these things. If you are a consultant, you would have been advised to somebody, this is what is you should follow. So unless you have any other specific requirement, questions, I will go in depth of it. Otherwise, I'll only highlight about these important compliances. So RERA mandates the registration of a real estate project. It is not the promoter. It's always a real estate projects to be registered, not the promoter to be registered. That means to say the ABC Private Limited company is having 10 different projects, 2 plotted development, 3 commercial, 4 residential, 1 mixed development. Then every project require a registration under RERA. That is the first aspect. We should remember this is the first requirement and the differentiator between any other and than this. Number one. Number two, without registration of a real estate project, the project cannot go to a market. It cannot be launched. It cannot be, money should not be collected, advertised, marketing, invite somebody to look into the project is prohibited. Section 3 mandates the prior registration of the real estate project. Further non-compliance of the same will attract Section 59 penalty. What is Section 59 talks about? If any of the promoter violates Section 3, then they are liable to pay a penalty of up to 10% of the project cost. Friends, imagine what is a penalty for non-registration of a real estate project? Up to 10% of the project cost. What do you mean by a project cost? Generally, any violation will have 5,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh. This is the only legislation to my knowledge. The penalty is based on the project cost, not on the revenue, not on the profits, on the project cost. That is what is that we should remember about when we advise to the client when they say that, sir, can I collect the money before registration? Absolutely no. Unless we are clear about, we cannot advise the client appropriately. And imagine if the officer is not in a good mood, if the officer is in frustration, what will happen to that client who goes for the hearing? He levy 10% of the penalty. Then what will happen? Because they have a discretion to levy up to 10% of the penalty. without making a payment of a penalty, he will not get the RERA registration. Without RERA registration, he cannot market, sell, he cannot collect money. Customer will not get the bank loan. So it's a vicious circle. So hence, prior registration of a real estate project is very mandatory before it goes to a market, advertisement, collect money, advances, sale. So that is the important aspect. So that's the first requirement under RERA. So you may have asked a question, when do I get a RERA registration? When should I go for a RERA registration? RERA registration is mandatory only after you obtain all approval, all NOCs and ready with all the documents as per section 4, read with rule 4 and 5 of West Bengal. So if you have all the details, all the documents which is available, then you can go to RERA and register the project. That is what is a mandatory. And each state has their own way of registration. Generally, it's an online module. Generally, it's a registration is through the faceless or interactionless, and you have to submit the document. The officers verify and give any of the clarification required. Again, you will reply through the online portal, and finally you will get the registration. So within 30 days from the date of filing, the authority shall either approve the project or reject the application in accordance with the section 5. But however, depends on the quality of the submission we made, clarity of the documents we give. Based on that, authority do approve the projects. We have a cases where RERA registrations are obtained in 2 days. In some of the cases, 6 months also it may not happen because of the clarity and the information, and also clear about the documents we upload. So that is how it works, and I'm sure that the same thing in West Bengal also. And once you register, any questions? Okay, friends, if you have a question, keep typing in the chat box. Don't worry whether on this topic, any of the other topics related to RERA, keep typing in the chat box. So I'm sure that few of you practice RERA in West Bengal. Generally, how many days it takes to register the project? Can you just chat? Can you just put it in the chat box if you don't mind? Whoever has that experience, please put it for the benefit of everybody. I do not have a much depth knowledge about West Bengal procedurally, how much their time taken. If anybody knows, please type it. Okay, good. 1 month, 30 days. Good. That's a fair time. Probably if things are better, you may get 2 months. Oh, one say 1 month, another say 2 months, maybe. Okay. I do not know reason, but within 1 month they have a mandate to either accept or reject. So probably ARS, I don't know who is ARS, probably Pinky or somebody from the ARS is attending. So if the documents are clear, you'll get better prior to that itself. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Any questions on registration? Each of may have the doubt. Why should we need a registration? Tell me, why should we need a registration? Why should I need a registration? Okay, to advertise, I need a registration. Understood. Okay. Otherwise, why should I need a registration? Sir, it is mandated under RERA, sir. That is why I need a registration. Good. One of that is monitor the project. So remember in the initial slide, I told you, you should remember this slide. So out of this, can you see the last one? For the governing purpose, in order to regulate, in order to bring transparency, establish a symmetry of information. Those are all the objectives with which we try to achieve by bringing the registration of a real estate project. So this is what so, and more or less the documents required for the registration is uniform across India, plus or minus about 10% variation in terms of the information required, depends on the local laws which is of the respective states is to be remembered. I practice at least about 8 different states actively. Various, except related to some of the land related laws, the documents details required is almost uniform in across the states. So these are first details. The lot of information which should go into the RERA while registering the project. Many of the builder, developer, professionals think RERA registration is like a filling one form. Is it correct? Say yes or no? No. HP, you have to expand your name. Sorry, otherwise I have to call you as HP only. Okay? So, no. Why no? Why it is not filling that information? So, the reason is, yes, it's a data filling information, but the data which goes into registration should be clear, it should be accurate, it should be factual. Because once the registration is obtained, if the information is misleading, if the information is not correct, again section 12 will applicable. Or the promoter can command, the authority can command, issue a show cause notice if the information is not correct. The reason is real estate project, the number of information, number of the documents required is more. It will have a details related to the legal documents from the mother deed to the till now, revenue records, municipal records, property tax details. Then it will have a financial details, KYC of the promoter, KYC of the document, directors, partners required, details required. Third, information related to your approvals, NOCs would be required. Fourth is about your engineering drawing, specifications required. Fifth is about what is the specification of the material, what is that you intend to deliver to the customer, how are you developing it, what is the timelines of the schedule of the development of the project, when are you collect the money, how are you collecting the money, your bank account details, agreement of sale draft is uploaded. Imagine this, all the information should have uniformity, should have connection, should have the resemblance, and we should have the information which really in accordance with the RERA. That is the reason I told the information which goes into the RERA registration is very much important. It is not just like filling an application and submitting some documents. Those documents has to be vetted by a person who know about real estate and RERA. Your chartered accountant is expert at only income tax and GST or something. Unless he is expert of RERA, he cannot comment. Your advocate may be good at something, but he cannot be good at everything, right? So those things we should remember. Your engineer is good at drawings and the plan. He may not good at other aspect of legal and financial. So someone who understands all this aspect has to verify this document before this goes into the filing. In my office, we have architects in-house, we have engineer in-house, we have advocates in-house, we have chartered accountant in-house, we have retired tahsildars that who worked in the revenue department is on our roll, and finally we have licensing people on our office on our roll for the purpose of providing the RERA services. So that is what is the important aspect of RERA registration. Somebody is asking quarterly report and annual report requirement to be different. Probably I'll explain you in the subsequent paragraphs. Okay, so this is the first aspect. If anybody has any question related to the registration, you can post, I will take up while I'll answer the other aspects. Second important aspect is funds management. Financial management under RERA is at the heart. RERA has come for what reason? In order to protect every stakeholders in the industry, that too it became the financial transaction, because real estate is a different industry itself. Before product is ready, even before it comes to a market, money would have been collected from the entire stakeholders. When I say stakeholders, it need not to be a buyer. Vendor would have been supplied the material, service provider would have been rendered the service, banker would have given a lending, customer would have taken a housing finance. customer would have been invested, some investors would have been invested into this project. Everything is money, but there is no product. As such, there is no product. Everybody has invested. If one project is stuck, entire stakeholders are stuck in the project, including my and your audit fees also stuck in case a project is not completed and promoter has not made money out of that project. So financial transaction under RERA is utmost important. It regulate, it monitor the money collected from the customers should go into the RERA account. How much it should go? 70%. That money should be used only for the purpose of construction and land purposes. The same shall be certified by a chartered accountant, architect, engineer, and money is permitted to withdraw based on the percentage of completion of the project. So this is what is very, very important. This is the important compliance. This is the very important compliance which we should remember about. So how do I regulate this? How do I monitor this? Come to section 11, read with rule 16D, where every promoter mandated to submit the quarterly filing returns, quarterly progress report in accordance with the rule 16D of the West Bengal RERA rules, and the due date is 7 days from the end of the each quarter, like a TDS. TDS is 7 days, if I'm right. So similarly, we have to submit this data within 6 months, within 7 days from the end of the each quarter, where you will provide this professional certificate along with the quarterly filing. And you may have you can ask a question, what are the information I should provide? Rule 16D mandates some of the information. What is the progress of the construction? How many units are sold? How many units are unsold? What is the money collected? What is the money incurred? And any approvals obtained during this period? Any NOCs are received during this period? Any modification has been obtained, any complaints, any legal problem is there, is to be reported as per the rule 16D of the RERA on a quarterly progress. This is an opportunity for a chartered accountant. Generally, chartered accountant, it's a job of a chartered accountant, because numbers we are very strong at. We have a hold on the books of accounts. We are the professionals should do this service. Because I understand in various offices, builders and developers, either legal team does it or the licensing team does it. I do not know why finance or accounts don't take up this aspect in the organization, which is not correct, because somebody who understands this aspect is the chartered accountant or the accounts and finance department. They should do this activity in the organization. So quarter on quarter, you continue to file the application. Then you file annual audit, like the way that any other income tax audit, GST audit, we have a RERA audit. It's a unique again, because audit is based on the project, not as the entity wise. If a LLP or a partnership has 6 projects, 6 audit reports should be submitted. Unless GST is 1 annual audit, income tax 1, tax audit 1, VAT 1. This is 6 project audit report which should be submitted on every year if the project is having 6. So that is the other aspect of the compliance. We should not forget about it. The quarterly compliance and annual compliances are very important. So now Mr. Manoj says that, sir, is it a same chartered accountant can sign the quarterly progress report and the annual audit? Answer is no. In order to have maintain the professional differences and to avoid conflict of interest, so both should be issued by a separate chartered accountant. Most of the states has specifically brought in this concept of not to issue. Generally, we recommend statutory audit who issue any of the statutory report, like a income tax or annual audit report. We recommend him to issue annual audit under RERA so that he can do the audit along with other audits. And if he is not comfortable, let any other CA does it. I know that many chartered accountants statutory audit and don't undertake to certify the RERA audit for whatever be the reason. I know at least we hear that from the industry, sir, my statutory auditor doesn't sign on the RERA audit for reason. Then I say that you engage somebody else, any other CA other than who issue the quarterly filing report, quarterly progress report certificate for withdrawal of the funds. So that is what is important for you. Next, keep doing it until you complete the project, till you complete the development of the project. You continue to file the quarterly progress report, continue to file the annual audit report. And as part of the RERA registration, you will give the end date of the project. What do you mean by end date of the project? Like any other product, there is expiry date. Similarly, in real estate project, I'm not telling this as expiry date, within which you will complete the development of the project. Now, so that date is called end date of the project, which is mandatory under RERA as part of your application. Consider if you are unable to complete the project in a time within which you mention as part of the RERA registration, then what do I do? Tell me, what should I do? Project is not completed. My validity of the RERA registration is lapsed. What should I do? Hello? Extension. What do you mean by extension? Renewal of your license, renewal of your validity. That comes under section 6. So mean to say that why extension? Because I have not completed the project, my validity of the RERA registration is lapsed. Then again I should go back to the RERA authorities, apply for extension. And as per section 6, authority has right power to issue only 1 year. Only 1 year of extension. Only 1 year of extension and not more than that. Even if the project require more than 1 year, then what do I do? You obtain section 6, then come to section 7.3. I'll explain the both in detail in the subsequent slide. So section 7.3 talks about further extension. That is what is important. So, okay. So you should remember the importance of this end date, because if you see registration, I clearly told somebody knows about RERA can only do it. If you say promoter says, sir, you put 3 years for completion. Your accountant says, sir, what should be the end date for the RERA registration? Probably your director or the owner says, you put 3 years, that's all, we'll complete it. Somebody should think, somebody should understand whether within 3 years I am able to complete it. How many projects in the past you could able to complete within the date which you have promised? Out of 10 projects you have not delivered within the time which committed to customer, 9 projects not delivered. Then where is the question of you deliver this project also within the time? So it requires a little more understanding of the impact of not getting the registration, not obtaining the registration within the time which is able to complete. Then you end up with having extension. Even that is also not able to complete, then you have to go for further extension under section 7.3. So again, it boils back to section 3. Very important for you to file the application with utmost due care. So you got the further extension also. First extension, second extension, you got it. Then you continue to file the quarterly progress, annual progress, and you'll reach a place, you'll complete the project, then you complete the project and exit. Okay, that is how the life cycle of the real estate before under RERA. So within the time, you also have activity of other than construction, sales and marketing, correct? The survey says 70%. How much? 70% of the primary sales happen through the agents or a channel partners. How many of you say yes? What is it? How much in West Bengal will happen through the agents, channel partners, or directly builders will sell? How it will happen? There is a big advertisement site. There is a big channel partners, agents who claim 2%, 3%, 4% commission. Correct? Are you agree? 2 crore, right? Need channel partner. 2 crore rupees of apartment. how much commission he gets? How much he gets? 2 crore rupees of 2% can be a 4 lakh rupees. Imagine as a professional, even I don't get that much money. Whether you are a chartered accountant, whether you're an advocate, whether it's an agent, you don't get that much of money. Even after in spite of do the every full year of audit or accounts. Okay, so that is the beauty of this industry. That is how the channel partners play a very vital role. 70% of the sales through happen through the channel partners. I don't think any other businesses other than real estate happens so much through the channel partners. Do you remember any of the business which happens through the channel partners? 70%. If somebody remembers, please post it. Even I wanted to know that. Okay. So that is what is. So there is a channel partners, agents. Don't we think that even the agent channel partners should also be regulated under RERA? Yes. That is why Section 9 and Section 10 of the RERA brought even that agent, the channel partner should be also registered with RERA, who is promoting the RERA projects. That is the important of it. That's the beauty of this industry. So the agent should also be registered under RERA. Only you can give your product to sell through a registered agent, like a LIC. Can anybody sell a LIC policy? Can anybody sell a mutual fund? What is the answer? Yes or no? Sir, the lowest premium that can be paid in a LIC is 179 rupees per annum. 179 rupees per annum is the lowest premium policy which is exist in LIC per annum. To sell that premium for 179, the LIC agent should have passed some exam, should have undergo some training. You should have registered the certificate with the registration number. Then only you can sell that LIC insurance for a 179 rupees of premium per annum. Don't you think somebody sell 2 crore rupees of your property needs some recognition, some registration? That is why the agent concept, channel partner concept has come, which is very much prevailing outside India, developed countries. India, we have realized now, they are also important. Their actions are also important. Their commitments are important. That is how they are also part of the real estate RERA. So mandatory registration of the agents and the channel partners. As a builder, I can only engage him as a partner, channel partner, if he registered with RERA, if he has a RERA registration, valid certificate, the certificate valid for 5 years. If the registration is not valid, then he should go back and renew it. Section 11 mandates it. Mr. Tulu Sahu, can an engineer and architect certify the requirement of RERA quarterly filing if they are employed in an organization? Such certification allowed if they are employed in the same organization. Generally, no, Mr. Tulu, section 4 to LD, if you specifically read, one should obtain the certificate of an architect, engineer, and a chartered accountant in practice. Okay, so it is generally who is have a independence, who has the holding a certificate of practice can only certify it. They will have a power to certify. Generally, employees will not have a power to certify for the purpose of the statutory requirement. They will not have a certificate of practice. Then any of the regulator, including the Council of Architects, Council of like Institute of Engineers, cannot hold him responsible unless he is a member holding the certificate of practice. Mr. Tulu, hope I am clear. He should hold the certificate of practice. You cannot be employee of either of this organization or any other organization. Then his conflict
sir.
of interest is there. Independence will be lost.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Agree. But if certified by the engineer, but actually he is employed. So in this case, actually, what the actually मेरा क्या actually responsibility आएगा? Suppose मेरा जो client है वो कुछ सर्टिफाइड दे रहे हैं, कोई इंजीनियर और आर्किटेक्ट, वो एक्चुअली कुछ एम्प्लॉयड है, वो एक्चुअली मेरा रिपोर्ट में कुछ क्या एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है? एक्चुअली क्वार्टरली फाइलिंग में मेरा कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट इंजीनियर एंड आर्किटेक्ट देंगे, मेरा क्वार्टरली फाइल में फिनेंशियल जो कंप्लीशन में सीए सर्टिफाई करेगा. बट सपोज इन कंप्लीशन का एक्चुअल कैपेसिटी जो कंप्लीशन वो सर्टिफिकेट दे रहे हैं वो इंजीनियर और आइदर आर्किटेक्ट, सॉरी, दोनों ही देना रहता है. बट अभी क्या सिचुएशन है, मेरा क्या सर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आएगा? मेरा जो रिपोर्ट है, जो गाइडेंस नोट है एज पर आईसीआई, मेरे को एक्चुअली वो पूरा डिटेल देना चाहिए कि नहीं सर, वो सर्टिफाइड बाय द दिस पर्सन हु इज नॉट एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिसिंग, बट इस तरह एक्चुअली दे सकते हैं ना क्या?
Mr. Tulu Sahu, in case if you know that they are not having a certificate of practice, please give a qualification in your certificate. If you know that, okay. If you don't know, even you cannot do that. You cannot even
नहीं
envisage that.
ओके सर,
Okay.
क्योंकि सर मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि जैसे आईसीआई एक्चुअली पूरा क्लियरली एज पर आईसीआई एथिक्स मींस कोड ऑफ एथिक्स प्रोहिबिटेड फॉर एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड प्रैक्टिसिंग, बट
Yeah.
एज पर इंजीनियरिंग मीन आर्किटेक्ट एंड इंजीनियर, ऐसा कुछ सर कुछ रूल है क्या? कुछ रेफरेंस दे
Yes,
सकते
yes,
हैं
yes, 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 yes. COA, Council of Architect, will issue a certificate of practice. Also, similarly, engineers institutes also they also issue the certificate of practice. They should have hold a license of this certificate for them to practice and attest any of the plan or a sanction. If you go back and check, if you go back and the plan sanction, there is an architect who certifies it. You should have a license to certify it. Look at the structural engineer. You should have a license to certify it. Only they will certify it, not the employees of the organization. Okay, that's very
Okay,
much important. We should
okay sir,
remember.
thank you sir.
Okay? Welcome, most welcome. Thank you. So apart from that, during the project development, various activities, various mandatory mandatory is provisions are there as per the RERA. That means to say, how do you advertise? And advertisement guidelines are issued by the West Bengal RERA. What should be the size of the font? What is the how you should show the disclose the RERA registration number they obtained. In case of the project is completed, please mention occupancy or completion certificate are received. So you have various aspects, various mandatory provisions, which is also a compliance. You may feel that it is not a compliance. It's a compliance under RERA. You should have all these aspect, all this important. You should remember all these provisions under RERA while you advise the client. You should read section 11 of the RERA, which has in detail what he should do from the beginning of the project to the completion of the project. So once it is completed, project is completed, then promoter should form enable the formation of an association and also hand over the project to the allottees. Till he hand over to the allottees customers, he should maintain that maintenance of a common area at a very reasonable cost, not at the exorbitant cost, is what is important for us to remember. Okay, that is another aspect to be look at that. Then there is a deed of declaration, conveyance deed of the common areas if it is part of the real estate, which aptly West Bengal has brought a circular by the IGR, that is the Stamps and Registration Department, whereby paying 100 rupees, the common areas can be conveyed to the association of allottees. Okay. So in case of any borrowing is made, any encumbrances are there on the property, on the land which is developed, the promoter under 11(4)(g), he should clear that borrowings, clear any liabilities on the land, give a clear title to the individual owners as well as the association, is something which we should really look into that. Mr. Tulu, if the RERA quarterly filing for second quarter has not been completed, but the builder wants to file subsequent quarter, what consequences may arise, whether it is possible? Mr. Tulu, generally, in my experience, it depends on how the software is developed by the authority. And if the software permit you to file the latest update, you can do it. Otherwise, you have to file on quarter basis. Tamil
No,
Nadu
sir.
has a
Yes, sir.
Tamil
In Odisha, actually, sir, second quarter actually till now not actually no access actually. Second quarter those are not filing, no access for the filing. Again, also late filing
why in access is not given?
because quarter two is closed. Quarter three available.
Achha, you have not filed the quarter 2. That is why you
Two.
have closed it, correct?
Yes.
But quarter 3 is available to file.
Yes, sir.
then you file the quarter 3.
But
Quarter you're
question,
not filed,
but
probably you end up with paying penalty
but
for
but
whichever
sir,
way you're not
yes
filed.
sir, but the question is quarterly filing. So quarter two not filing. So now the opening balance of quarter two means quarter three for the quarter two is not clear. So now I am मैं क्या सर total 6 month का ऐड करूंगा ना सर only the quarter three.
Only quarter 3 you should do it. You should do quarter 3.
But sir opening balance in quarter one closing balance or any other.
Generally, it's a quarter on quarter you should do it. Okay, whichever be the close, you give one letter, one document to them, attached to that stating that the quarter 2 was not filed, but however the details are here. Okay, so it again depends on the application software developed by the authorities. If you find it something which is not practically possible, we should actively involve and go and meet the authorities and explain, because for them also it is new. For them also it is very new. If you are Odisha, Mr. Pradeep Kumar was there. Pradeep Kumar was one of the members. He was a chartered accountant. So he just retired last year. Otherwise, he was very cooperative. He was very understandable. So he used to receive all these input from various members, practical aspect, do the implementation. Possibly what you raise in question is a very valid. You should go and you should communicate that to the authority. This is the difficulties we are facing it.
Okay sir, thank you sir.
Yeah. And we may think that registration is mandatory for everybody for that matter. Now ecosystem is there. It is not only for the builder. Banker to release the loan, he expects the RERA registration. If somebody wanted to lender, for you to lend the money, he should require the RERA registration. If the buyer to purchase, he will expect the RERA registration. Insurance company is asking. Even the planning authorities who issue the completion certificate, they also expect you to obtain the RERA registration. Then only they will release a completion certificate. Now, even the service providers like a Tata Steel, like a Adani Cements, they expect you to have a RERA registration. If they want to give you a project rate, project benefit, they wanted to give, then you should have a RERA registration. In case of a GST benefits, it's based on the RERA registration. In case of income tax, it's based on the RERA registration. Imagine now this RERA is there everywhere. Unfortunately, professionals, we are failed to completely understand and guide or advise the builder, promoters, or any other stakeholders on an active basis. It's a very good area of practice. If somebody wanted to make a fortune of it, you jump into this and start doing it. So this is the obligation of the promoter, section 3, which I mentioned, 4 I mentioned, section 4, 70% I mentioned, section 11 task about disclose of all the details of the promoters. Section 11 again takes, you should have the society. The moment you have a majority of the booking happen, that's a 51%, then you enable the formation of the association of the allottees. And section 12 talks about advertisement, which should be factual, which should be correct. Otherwise, there is a penalty which is liable under section 60 for non-compliance of section 4 or section 61 for non-compliance of any of the sections of the RERA Act. Section 13 talks about agreement of sale. What do you mean by agreement of sale? In case of a customer wanted to enter into an agreement of the sale, then section 13 mandates what is a format in which you enter into an agreement. Earlier, what was the agreement? The agreement can be a 2 pages, agreement can be a 200 pages. If you pay 5,000 rupees to some advocate, he draft 2 pages agreement. You pay 50 lakh rupees, the big of the big will draft 200 pages. Both are agreement, both are valid in the eyes of law. But section 13 made it mandatory and standardized the agreement. That is called agreement of sale, builders buyers agreement, which should be uniform. In order to bring the standardization, in order to bring the accountability and pan-India standardization, agreement for sale is notified by RERA itself. Remember objective of the Act, one of the objective, the transparency, accountability, and uniform standardization. So this is the objective, to have the uniform and standardized format of the agreement for sale. That is what is important. So you should go through the agreement of sale, any of the provision which is against the RERA, which is not permitted. So that is section 13. Then what happened during the tenure of the project development? You wanted to build little more floors, additional FSI or FAR, then there is a change in the specification or the plan modification. Then what do? Prior to RERA, there is nothing. You do whatever you wanted. Customer did not had a say in it because agreement was mentioned in the same way that where promote. It's almost like a one-sided agreement. But Section 14 now says it's a consent is required. This is a product. It is like four-wheeler car you booked. Car has a four-wheeler. And when I deliver it, can you say three-wheeler, can you buy it? Similarly, this also. So 14 mandates you to comply with modification, comply with the sanction plan. You have to adhere to the sanction plan. Any modification, go back to the customer, not to the builder, not to the department. First, go back to the customer, get a consent. I'm okay for the builder to modify it. Okay, that is what is important. Then also 5 years of defect liability. What do you mean by defect? Defect related to the structure, defect related to the service, defect related to the material which used, or any of the application of the promoter which is not delivered, then 5 years you should give a warranty guarantee. Again, it's a standardization. As a chartered accountant, I have to provide some contingency, some liability in the books against the project for the 5 years in order to look at that contingency of the defect liability. Generally, 100 to 200 rupees per square feet is the industry standard. Depends on the quality, depends on the location, depends on the material they use. They provide in the books for the 5 years, carry over that as an expenses, and at the end of the 5th year, they will reverse the unspent amount as part of the project. So that is how the industry also started looking. Section 15 talks about transfer of the project, where you wanted to transfer from one builder to another builder. Then earlier there was no way that allottees were involved. Now Section 15 mandates you should go back and take the 2/3 consent. Example, I purchase a project from a Tata. Tata Realty is a name. Now consider Tata wanted to sell it to Bata. Bata is in the picture of real estate? No. Then what is confidence for me to purchase from a Bata, from a Tata? So that is what it says, that go back. There is there will not be any hindrance for you to transfer, but go back to your customer, explain to them, I'm transferring this property, this project to other builder. Please give me your consent. So that is what Section 15 talks about. Section 16 talks about the insurance. There is a land titling insurance we have. That is a challenge in India because we do not know, even government cannot give a guarantee of the land title or the title. That is why the title insurance is not so familiar, not so powerful in India in terms of the title, land title. Maybe down the line, the moment the government digitize the land records, bringing down the Land Titling Act as a mandatory, probably this insurance also can be obtained. Then transfer within 3 months from the date of OC. See Section 17 mandates. Earlier there was a practice in this industry, whether project completed or not, half of the project completed, they used to do the sale deed, conveyance deed. That is not correct. Now RERA mandates you can do convey only after completion of the project, after receipt of the completion certificate. And within how much? Within 3 months from the date of receipt of the occupancy certificate is what RERA talks about. But we strongly recommend start registering the conveyance deed or a sale deed only after completion of the project, receipt of the occupancy certificate. So consider all these is the provisions under RERA, compliances under RERA. In spite of that, you are not able to deliver your project the way that you have promised. Then what happened? Your customer will come, Baba, you promise something like this, but you are delivering like this. You have promised like a Mercedes Benz, but you are trying to deliver it like a Padmini Premier or Ambassador. Then what do I do? Because I paid for a Mercedes Benz, not the cost of an Ambassador. Then we'll demand for a refund for any of the deficiency in the service, deficiency in the quality, delay in possession of the property, or any of the obligation which is mentioned in the agreement of sale is not complied with. That Section 18 will trigger. You ask for the refund, compensation, and interest on the same. So this is the entire life cycle of the RERA in terms of the compliances and what happened to the registration and the completion in between. And if you don't deliver it, what will be the impact of it?
क्या कर रहा है उसमें?
सर एडिटिंग का
So this is about RERA,
तो
about
हो ही किया रहा उसका अंदर, फिर क्या गड़बड़ निकल
compliances.
गया?
उसका में एक ही बिल को दो बार
Okay. Can you see some numbers on the screen? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, perfect. So on the left side, can you see row label 23, 24, 25, 26?
Correct.
So this is the year of registration of the real estate projects in West Bengal. I'm referring this to West Bengal. So in these years, West Bengal RERA has registered so much of project. And on the vertical, can you see that? Horizontal, can you see 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 34?
Yes,
So
yes.
the projects which are registered is how many? Total number of? We have how many projects registered? About 3,904 projects registered in West Bengal, almost say 4,000. And the pattern of this completion is like this. Can you see somebody filed the application in 2026? They have given end date in only in 2026, 8 projects. Can you see?
Right.
Is that possible? Somebody started now and this year only I'm trying to complete. Answer may or may not be, I don't know. But we should very much careful when we give a end date of a project. Depends on the past experience, depends on the size, depends on the difficulty, depends on the government regulation, depends on the risk which is involved. We should file for an application for the end date. On the top 24, 25 is the end date. That's the completion dates they are given. On the left side, in the year in which they obtain the RERA registration. Can you see? Somebody registered in 2025. They are given the end date as 2034. 9 years they are given for 2 projects. 7 years they given for 3 projects, because the projects may be very long, very lengthy, very big. That much of time that may take. Can you see somebody registered in 2025? 135 project declared themselves as same year I will complete it. Probably very difficult. Unless project is already completed. Because we should receive various type of NOCs, water connection, power connection, sanitary, sewage. If everything can be possible in the same year, I get the RERA registration, same year I will try to complete. So this is what we should remember as a professional when we talk to the clients. This is what important for me, to understand more about the project, how we'll develop the project, how we'll complete the project, what is the stage-wise development of the project. I'm sure that people who have filed this application 2025, end date itself is 2025, 50% of the applications are wrong, not correct. They're not understood the importance of this, not understood the reason why they have given end date as same. Okay, that is what is important for us to understand. Any doubt till now? Okay, this is about the compliances, and various circulars are issued by the West Bengal RERA. I told you in case of end date is lapsed, then the validity should be extended. You have a procedure for a validity. Personal hearing should be given. Okay, application submitted, not 3 years, sorry, it's 3 months prior to lapse, not 3 years. 3 months prior to lapse, you should pay additional fees. There is a additional condition would be levied by the authority while they issue in the section 6 or section 7.3. One chairman, 2 members generally hear this application. 7.3 on a special cases, because 7.3 is revocation of the registration is what is there. So that is what is important for us to understand. And they say that because 7.3 is a very tricky one, just cannot give the further extension. It's a very simple where you have promised to deliver the project within 2 years, and if you're not able to deliver within 2 years, then what will happen? Entire ecosystem is stuck. Your customer is stuck, your buyer is stuck, your banker is stuck, your vendor is stuck, government is stuck more so. Unless you complete the project, you will not get the stamp duty, you will not get the GST, you will not get the income tax, you don't get the labor cess. That is what everybody is stuck if you do not complete the project in the way that it is planned and promised. So some of the affidavits, as I told, like this is section 59, like if you do not if you market such a way that advertise such a way that only after RERA registration is section 59, as I told, that is affidavit, you will end up with giving it. So this is a very, very important. Probably you may also have the same question. Sir, what I will do? I will use my own money. I will not borrow from the bank. I will not take from the customer. I will not advertise. I will not market. Do I need a RERA registration? What is the answer, friends? Is it a fair question? Is it a fair question? I have completed the project. My product is ready. Do I need a RERA registration? Do I need? Say yes or no, na. At least say don't know. I'm okay. Then I will know that you are all listening. Otherwise, I feel that only I'm talking to the monitor. Manoj Keshan said yes. On behalf of everybody, he said yes. Registration is compulsory. Thank you. Yes. Answer is yes. Because in few of the Maharashtra has given one circular stating that not required, but that is not the correct view. And even I heard that Maharashtra wanted to take back that circular notification, because RERA is a regulatory authority, not a registration authority. RERA regulates the registration, not a registration. It regulates the real estate industry. Hence, whether you file an application as a new project, ongoing project, completed, then you need a RERA registration. It is a mandatory. Friends, please remember, if anybody has any doubt, sir, I've completed the project, product is ready. Why should I have a RERA registration? Answer is, you should say yes, it is required. Because unless the product is registered, various challenges are there. You will not get the housing loan by a customer. It is not a registered project. I do not know tomorrow when he wanted to sell it to somebody else, that buyer may ask, give me the RERA registration. Because under RERA, title guarantee by a builder promoter is a lifetime. That means to say that if there is a title deficiency, somebody has filed a suit for partition, or if the builder lose, then the customer will get a right to recover his entire money, irrespective of his age, irrespective of his life. So, lifetime guarantee of a title. The defect liability of a building construction, I said 5 years. Similarly, lifetime title guarantee is under RERA, that you can invoke only when RERA project is registered under RERA. So, remember this answer always yes for this. Okay. Various Supreme Court judgment, as I told initially, West Bengal has a ERA. Okay, so housing and HIRA Regulation Act, they had it, and by virtue of this West Bengal, the Forum for People Collective Effort, Mr. Abhay Upadhyay is from the Kolkata. He filed the application before Supreme Court, filing like when there is a central enactment is there, state cannot have the jurisdiction of the same enactment. So they have taken out. More so, this WB HIRA is in line with RERA only. All the provision what was there, similar thing is there. So that is why they don't want to have it. Finally, Supreme Court has given a verdict and quashing and directing the state to repeal the WB HIRA, and whatever be the project which is registered under WB HIRA deemed to have the registration under RERA, that is a transition provision is given. All the provisions of RERA is applicable to those projects also. So this is about WB, RERA, HIRA and RERA. Okay. So this is what is about the compliances life cycle of real estate project, how RERA is inbuilt, how RERA is circumvented every provisions of real estate. Friends, as I told you, I haven't seen any other legislation, any other act so much clarity as RERA has it. That is why there is no amendment in the last 10 years. It is a inability. It's a of the stakeholders to understand the requirement of this and appreciate the provision. Lack of intention is there. That is the reason we don't, and we say that RERA is not clarity. RERA is that, RERA is that. You tell me whatever is the provision, I'll give a scientific reason, scientific answer, which is inbuilt in RERA. As generally, I say RERA brings organization together because, as I told, for you to file one RERA application, you need information from every department: accounts and finance, legal, HR, sales, CRM, procurement, quality, specification. Everybody should contribute to file one RERA application. That means to say everybody should come together, sit and finalize something which is very correct. Probably HR department may not involve for filing RERA. HR department should hire somebody who understands RERA. That is what is important for us to understand. If a real estate project has already obtained RERA approval in the name of the builder, can the project be transferred to another builder? That is what Mr. Tulu says. Section 15 is applicable. Transfer of rights and liabilities in the project. Section 15 triggers. You should go through the Section 15 provision. Yes. Then questions, please.
Okay,
Can I stop before I proceed with the judgments? I can request organizers to say, switch on your. I wanted to keep as much as interactive so that either may have oral question or the charts. Super, somebody has written. Sujit Kumar, Odisha. So it says Mr. Sujit Kumar. In Odisha, properties were sold between 2016 to 2020, even after RERA came into practice. Now they stopped the entire apartment sale, and then after 3 years, they allowed property can be sold if brought from the builder before 2016 issue. Whose mistake for allowing registration of property between 2016 to 2025? Why states should not be penalized and non-compliant? Very good. Sujit ji, very nice, very good. It is a failure of the government to regulate and implement mandatory registration. Without registration, they should not have allowed in various ways, starting from registration of the property in a sub-registrar, payment of property taxes. Bankers should not have funded. There should have been a various breaks, various regulations they should have made, but they're not made it. Probably you can make a party government before the court stating that they are failed to exercise there, so we are suffering. So they can do that, and maybe government also come back. The courts also may come back. The doctrine of what? Buyer beware. Correct? Buyer beware is a fundamental thing. So when there is a law which is existing, if you do not want to follow the law, then whose mistake is this? Okay, so there is a responsibility on both the hands. Without two hands, clap is not possible. So that is the reason. Probably we can go, you will get some or other relief from that, stating direct by penalizing a builder or penalizing the people who are involved in the transaction, can pay some penalty and register with that. Something, but who will get the benefit of this, you tell me? Again, penalty will go to the government. Again, government is only beneficial out of this action. So, but there we should approach this. There is no other option other than that. NRI indexation benefit gone to the government, to government failure, and why state can't be penalized? Way forward. Laws are made for people of India, but what remedies are available for government's failure? Loss of funds are due to extra capital paid. I completely with you. And there is no, that is why judiciary is there. That is why courts are there. We have to go and we have to make it happen. Otherwise, we will not get that. That is why the buyers builders agreement. You remember the Chief Justice of India, Chandachud. There was a Chief Justice of India, Chandachud. He made it a point where central government has written to all the state government make implement of the buyer builders agreement, which is uniform as per RERA, is mandatory. And if they do not do it, then they are personally liable. Hence, they started looking into that. So that is how the works. Unless we wake up, if we know something which is not happening, we should take a lead in terms of making it happen. There is no other way to make it happen. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. ARS, WB project completed in 2021 when WRERA was not active in WB. However, CC not received due to inability of the authorities. Practice of issuing CC was kept in abeyance. So, show cause note in imposing penalty under 59. Uh, 59. Show cause notice under section came to be issued in 2024. Whether we are liable for penalty in addition to our possession certificate? No, not really required. I don't know ARS. I don't know what is the name of the person who is written this. Okay, there is no requirement. Penalty for non-registration. Certainly, you can go before the. See, in 2021, I remember WB HERA was there, right? Why was not registered before WB HERA? Because WB HERA was there. WB RERA was not there, but HERA was there, right? In 2021. Okay. Yeah, Rohitji. Yeah, got it. Yeah. So WB HERA was there. That is what the transition provision was given. HERA to RERA, you can come. I'm sure that government WB HERA registration was not granted through though applied. Okay, that is a play. That is a where you can take a stand on that. If you have a valid documents for that, certainly we can recommend, we can represent, and also we can fight before the any judiciary. Not only at RERA, go to the tribunal, go to the High Court, till the Supreme Court, because Section 59, 10%. We will fight if there is a point or a legal case to it. Yeah, got it. When to consider sale? If a major amount is paid and possession is obtained with TDS being deducted, but sale deed may or may not happen in near future, and when it is possible, sub-registrar will report that for both resale and direct sale. What is the question? When to consider sale if a major amount is paid? You are saying that sale, consider sale for what purpose? For RERA, income tax, or GST? GST, very much clear on performance of the obligation. Is GST is triggered? Whether you pay or don't pay, whether raise a invoice or not, GST is liable. Income tax talks about percentage of completion, offer the income, and accounting standard Ind AS talks about your completion contract method. So, as such, sale deed as an event that doesn't stop anything from you doing all other activities. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Got it. So can I proceed towards the important judgments? Debanji, anybody is there to say yes, no? If you have any questions, you are free to ask.
Yeah, in fact, they can even write in the chat box. They can switch on their mic and speak. They can switch on their mic and video and speak,
Yeah.
whatever is comfortable.
I do not know what is the instruction of ACAE. You should not show your face to anybody. Okay. Okay, just can you give me 1 second? Somebody is calling for one OTP. I'll just give the OTP.
Yeah. Sure.
ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಬಂತಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬಂತು ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ OTP ತಗೊಂಬ Okay. Yeah. So next is in terms of the latest notification circular under WB-RERA. Probably it is available in the website. So I just for the sake of that, I'll display it here. Most of this notification for the extension of the quarterly update. Otherwise, penalty is liable to pay. And I can see in every quarter they are trying to provide the extension, because I know within 7 days from the end of the quarter is really challenging. It's a fair to give a extension. Probably representation should be made to make necessary amendment in the rules itself. Instead of 7 days, probably 20 days or 30 days from the end of the quarter is a very fair. Because 7 days out of that, if you get a long leave, 3 days is gone, because you need a chartered accountant, architect, engineer, your accountant, the banker for a bank statement. Okay, many professionals are required to get this quarterly filing done. So that is the reason your books of account should be maintained first. Honestly tell you, how many will complete their book entry by end of the month for somebody to do the audit and issue a CA certificate? CA certificate should be issued based on the books of accounts maintained by the promoter, not on any other basis. So 7 days is very, very less. My honest and sincere request is represent the government through the RERA itself. Give me 20 days or 25 days or 30 days from the end of the quarter. It's a fair ask because of the difficulties of having many professionals involved while issuing the certificate. And but in case of any long leave or any weekend comes, festival comes, they are not available, we are not available, then invariably come back to you, ask for the extension. So as I mentioned, that advertisement, other publication, they are given how to do it. And remission of the stamp duty, I told you in case of transfer of the common area, I should sincerely I sincerely thank WB West Bengal government, first state to bring the remission of stamp duty, of conveyance of the stamp duty for a common area. There are no other states which has brought in till now. So that is one. Second, also West Bengal RERA has reduced the limit, because as per the Act, 500 square meters and the 8 units. And I think WB RERA has brought down to 200 or 300 square meter. Something 200 square meter and 6 units. It's a good practice to bring every apartment. When we say that there is an apartment, it should come under RERA. That is what is, because otherwise they are left out. Again, then before judicially they have to go in terms of that. That is not fair when there is a industry act itself is there. Manoj Keshan, edit log is necessary and books are supposed to be updated on regular basis. Yes, Mr. Manojji. Yes, it is mandatory. It is like wearing a helmet is a mandatory, but are we wearing is the question. Okay. So that is what is the difference. Okay. And some of the notifications which are issued is captured here, and I will share this. You can do it. So agreement of sale is a very, very important topic. Important aspects, compliance under RERA, and I invite everybody here to understand the importance of it. You may not practice, but however, having knowledge is very important, because we are all aspiring to own a real estate. It may be a land, it may be a plot, it may be an apartment, it may be a shop, it may be a commercial, anything for that matter, but we should know about it. When you don't know it, you can't advise anybody. Once your neighbor may come down and ask, I'm purchasing a property, what should I look into that? At least you should say, you look into the RERA. Even you may not know RERA, but you should know RERA. Go and meet somebody XYZ where they will advise you on this aspect. Agreement of sale, please go through this. And as I mentioned, agreement of sale cannot be entered unless it is registered. If the promoter intend to take more than 10% of the agreement unit cost, say example 1 crore is apartment, in order to take more than 10%, more than 10 lakh rupees, this agreement of sale should be registered with a sub-registrar. It's a mandatory. Government is coming very harsh on that. As Rohit says, 2021, they're issuing notice in 24. I'm sure that another 5 years, government wanted to collect some of the penalties. In the interest of the revenue, they can open up this also, because they have a data. All sale deeds are registerable, and against sale deed, you have a inventory details in the RERA. They try to map it. something which is not registered the agreement, they levy a penalty. So look at that, very careful. We should be advise everybody to do that. So this is agreement of sale clauses, very important aspect of it. Okay. And very, very important judgment of WOB RERA itself about the S Bank in case of a debt recovery, where banks are directed to take the possession, they directed to vacate the physical, and very clear on this, where if it is already given to the allottees, subsequent mortgages are not valid. Okay, and even if it becomes a NPA or otherwise, so subsequent mortgages are not valid, and banks do not have a right on taking the possession of those units. Is very important. We should remember about it. So this is what I told about 10% of the consideration. And these are Maharashtra says about in case of SM infrastructure versus Fakre Alma Sheikh, where he say that customer is not making regular payment. That is why I am not registered for the agreement of sale. That may not be the reason for not performing your obligation. If he has not performed his obligation of non-payment, you have an option to recover that money, not to restrict yourself from registering the agreement for sale. That is what is this judgment talks about. This is a puzzle: car parking should be treated as a common area or not. So there are a lot of litigation, lot of differences in case of a car parking. In West Bengal, it is more. One of the largest project in West Bengal is developed by the largest infrastructure company in Kolkata on behalf of a government had this issue. We were there in 2021 or 22. We have advised them, and it was a very difficult to take a position on the car parking because law is very unclear. However, post-RERA, it is very much important to have clarity on that for ourselves based on various other laws, land-related laws and Town and Country Planning Act, building bylaws, and also look at the definition of a common area. Then only we can arrive at the reasonably what is correct and what is not correct. So accordingly, this puzzle car parking, you know what do you mean by puzzle car parking? It goes like this, it comes like this, it comes like this, it goes like that. Like moving the car in a multi-level car parking, whether it's called as a common area or not. For your information, even Maharashtra RERA also couldn't arrive at whether it's a common area or not. Okay, that is the outcome or decision of it. In case of payment of interest till the actual delivery of the possession or a communication to offer a delivery? It's a very interesting question. What is your answer? I am a builder. I completed my project. I have written a mail to you as a customer. Project is completed. Come and take the possession. I know I've delayed 6 months delayed in terms of the giving the possession. But now I'm ready to give a possession. I have communicated today, 1st January 2026, supposed to be completed in June 2025. 6 months delay, but I have given a communication to on 1st January 2026. But the customer has come and either he has taken a delivery in March 26 or I have given a delivery in 26. It's a very interesting case in case of a Bombay High Court, okay, where it says actual delivery is the date for you to arrive at. Actual delivery is the date for arriving at calculating of the delay interest, and compensation should be paid accordingly. Very interesting. So you should communicate, you should advise your clients. Mere you sending the communication doesn't take away the liability of a delay in possession. Of course, we can arrive at, we can tell with the documents where customer has not come forward to take the possession of the property. Hence, I am ready with that delivery. Okay. So purely based on the complete facts, but in this case, it says actual delivery. Naisha says, sir, case name is not available. It is there now. Propel Developers Private Limited versus Mikunj Kiran Joshi and another. In this case, it is available. Nilam Prasad, in phase 1, developer built G plus 5th floor, but in the second phase floor rise to 7th floor in the same project, causing middle block looks small and surrounding block big one. Can existing block present old phase can be object the same? The answer is yes, answer is no, both. Answer is yes and no. I don't know. Mr. Manoj, is case law is not visible? On the screen you have second, have you able to see the screen or not? Can you see the screen? In the screen is there na parties to the case. Second column is parties to the case. Devan, can you help me?
Yes, the parties to the
visible?
case, right?
There is a case name is there. Case name is not visible. That is a case name. Propel Developers versus that is what is so. Look at Mr. Manoj. Anyhow, I'll share my PDF. Okay. So in this judgment, payment of interest is what is actual delivery. So you should be remembered. You cannot say to your client, sir, you have communicated, it is up to him to come and take the possession. Okay. But in case of a delivery delay, it becomes difficult for you to prove it because there is a Bombay High Court judgment already. Okay. So this is one more. Okay. Somebody is asking question on section 14. Nilam Prasad. Okay, Nilam Prasad, this is applicable to section 14, modification of the sanction plan. Okay, so you should refer to important two judgment. One is Tamil Nadu judgment, another is a Maharashtra judgment, which is well settled, well set judgment. We have taken, it has taken complete consent, information, facts of the case, then they have delivered the judgment. Tamil Nadu says that as long as the promoter has communicated to you well in advance about the modification of the plan and the proposed modification, then the customer do not have any say in terms of restricting that. However, Maharashtra says about the promoter has not communicated anything to me about the subsequent block. He is only written as the future or the future development without disclosing that I do not have any information about it, and probably we have a right to object to that, a right to seek for a compensation. But purely it's the case of a specification, case to case basics, facts of the cases. If you if you want me to argue, I will argue on both the sides. So that is how the legal professional, okay? Because if you say an example, murder case, there is a murder, right? There is a murderer. Somebody is murdered also. There is a two professionals also. Somebody is for murder, somebody is for against murder. Okay, that is how. Okay, you can't say both will be murdered, then these facts are there, so we'll give the punishment. No, still they argue with the various facts of the case. Okay, that's all. And this case is in terms of the area, because if you read section, it talks about the threshold limit of 500 or the 8 units. If you strict reading of the act, it should satisfy both the condition. Actually, it should satisfy both the condition. Then only RERA applicable, section 3 to A. Say 500 square meter, I have 6 apartments. RERA doesn't applicable. I have 400 square meters, 10 apartments. RERA not applicable, because both the conditions should be satisfied. This is a Gitanjali Aman construction case in Maharashtra. Now it is before the High Court. It is deciding. However, reading of the act says both the conditions should be satisfied. That is why Tamil Nadu is very clear. Both the conditions are not satisfied, you need not to register before RERA. But all other states, no, nothing doing, you register with RERA if any of the conditions are satisfied. Again, this is the interest on delayed position, because 95% of the project complained or the towards the delay in possession. So delay in possession means compensation. Compensation means interest on the for the mental torture. All those things you can claim it. Yes, Mr. Nilam Prasad, developer did not ask for the same firm for phase one customer. Probably you have a case. We can consider that, because orally I cannot tell you without me looking into what all he has communicated. Even advertisement material is sufficient. The sanction plan is sufficient to prove him that already which have there. I need not to say orally to you, to everybody. So that is what is I am trying to tell you. So in this case, Subhashini, Tulsiram, SPR and RG Construction is the Madras High Court case. This is also one good case where the when the rules, when the act is there, it should have been complied with that. Without that, you cannot be you cannot say that I can't comply with that, which is a settled law in the other cases of other legislations. Because there are various cases which related to the occupancy and the completion certificate. It's fine because RERA defined both. Occupancy certificate also defined, completion certificate also defined. Both are different. Generally, occupancy certificate is the moment the project is ready with the water, sanitary, electricity. Basic necessity is called occupation. When project is completed in all aspect is called completion certificate, is the way that we look at. But most of the law, whether it's income tax, whether it's a GST, it insists on the completion certificate, not on the occupation certificate. But I think GST also clarified where there is no practice of the completion certificate, occupation certificate would be considered as a completion certificate. In my view, it is not correct. In my view, it is not correct. Okay, so that's how it looks at. Okay, because RERA is superior than any other laws now. RERA is the industry legislation. Any other laws has to refer to the RERA, whether it's a definition of a carpet area, definition of a promoter, definition of an apartment, definition of a common area, definition of a promoter, project, occupancy certificate, completion certificate, everything, every act has to refer RERA, because RERA is the industry regulator. You can't define your own definition unless it is there in RERA. If it is not there in RERA, I understand. If it is part of the definition of RERA, you should follow the same definition. So this is one more, this is a normal developer where development model. See, we know there is a development agreement model, development manager model. Land will be in the name of the landowner. Approval will be in the land of the landowner. And all licenses in the name of the landowner. Business also would be in the name of the landowner. Where development manager will bring his specialization in terms of managing the entire project, construction, sales, marketing, advertisement, everything. When you are involved, you cannot escape from the liability from the customers. Same thing happened in this case. Nirmal Developers is a Mumbai based. Shapurji Palonji has lent his brand, stating that we are the development manager and there is a delay in the project, there is a deficiency in the project. Then Shapurji Palonji says that I'm only a development manager, I'm not the developer or a promoter. And authority as RERA has come heavily because of the brand of Shapurji Palonji. People have purchased, not with the Nirmal developer name, because you say Shapurji Palonji developed by, marketed by, because people have purchased it. Now you cannot escape from the liability of your own deed. So that is what is the says. Okay. Why I'm telling this is you should understand this completely in depth. Then only you appreciate RERA. Otherwise, on the plain reading of it, you will also have a question, why? Why? Unless you understand the industry practice, industry business, procedure, process, and the way industry business runs, then you will appreciate this why. This is a one more thing, definition of a promoter. I do not know in Maharashtra, you have a housing society model where membership will be taken, money will be taken from time to time, whether those housing societies should be registered under RERA or not. And definition says including housing cooperative society, they also should be registered. RERA applies to long leases. Generally, there is a Lavasa Corporation of Maharashtra where they entered into 999 years. Lease is applicable. Tamil Nadu has considered at minutely, even 1-2 years also they consider, but High Court said nothing to consider. They're given 30 years or something is the time for you to say for a leases also to be registered under RERA. This is an industrial shed, okay? So whether it is applicable, RERA is applicable to industrial, Tamil Nadu said yes, Maharashtra said no. So like West Bengal say they're developing the development corporation for the industrial shed or SEZ, whether that is applicable, applicability is yes, as long as it's for purpose of industry, because it doesn't differentiate whether it's a real estate or not. The moment the land or building is involved for the purpose of transaction, it is applicable for RERA. See, this is a very typical case. I do not know how agreement are also entered. Agreement didn't say that what is the end date. Then what did he say? Looking at the project says it's 3 years is a reasonable time to complete. So beyond that, you have pay the compensation. As I mentioned, if the agreement is not in accordance with section 30, read with the respective rules, then that agreement is not stands in the court of law. These are the penalties. Friends, you should remember under RERA, penalties are huge. Penalties are huge, up to 10% of the project cost. I've seen some of the RERAs have levied 1%, 2%. Still, it's a huge. Say an example, 50 apartment, the cost of the land and construction, say 50 crore rupees. 1% is also 50 lakh rupees. 10% means 5 crore rupees. Please educate all your clients, builder, developer, for that matter, anybody. Penalties under RERA is high. Do not get into the penalty mode. So these are all the I've captured some of the best practices, and these are the best practices and the post RERA. What are the practices happened based on my experience, based on my knowledge, based on meeting with various authorities, good people. I could make a make some about RERA presentation and also the knowledge about it. I've presented before you, and another 5-10 minutes is left. I'll leave it to the floor to ask any questions related to this. Devine,
Yeah, absolutely. So, to all the participants, you can please unmute yourself and speak directly, whatever question comes to your mind. And I think this is a rare opportunity uh, where we can actually get our problems solved or the queries that comes to our mind in front of an expert on RERA. And we do not get such opportunities quite often because we do not have professionals in this domain. So I
how do
think,
you call Devine? Physically, I'll come 2 days. I'll have a workshop in Kolkata for chartered
sure.
accountants, advocates, lawyers, employees of the builders, developers, and various. Okay. So look at that way. It's a big opportunity for everybody to know. In most of the programs, RERA authorities deploy their employees, their officers to understand this RERA. Okay. So that is what is the, because even for them also RERA is a new, for them also RERA is new. And holistically, somebody should understand this RERA, and then only they will appreciate and
Correct.
appreciate the intent behind it, statute, and the government what they wanted to achieve. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Pravinji, would you like to say something? I think probably those of the participants who are having questions have already thrown it to you during the session itself. It doesn't seem anyone else raising any other query except for whether this PPT will be shared or not.
That time we should not only PPT, I will share you 100 documents if you have a ability and patience to read.
Mhm.
I'll give you 100 properties, 100 documents for you.
हेलो, एक्सक्यूज मी
Yeah.
Yeah.
सर, थोड़ा एलाबोरेट कर सकते क्या? जैसे एक्चुअली कोई सिचुएशन में, जैसे मेरा एक्चुअली जो क्वेश्चन था, मैंने
हाँ
कैसे
जी।
एक्चुअली क्या रिपोर्ट बेसिस में कोई सीए कोई सर्टिफिकेट दे रहे सपोज क्वार्टरली, जैसे सिचुएशन में मैंने कोई सपोज बिल्डर रेरा अकाउंट में पैसा एक्चुअली ठीक से भी कलेक्ट नहीं किया, लाइक 70-30 जो कस्टमर से कलेक्ट किया है वो डिफरेंट अकाउंट में, और जैसे इंजीनियर का एक्चुअली डिटेल्स, वो सर्टिफिकेशन, अदर कोई सपोज एक्सपेंसेस जो भी हो रहा है, जैसे आईसीआई का गाइडलाइन है, हम लोग जो से एक्चुअली स्पेशल सर्टिफिकेट दे रहे हैं फॉर क्वार्टरली, वो रिगार्डिंग थोड़ा एलाबोरेट कर सकते हैं? कैसे क्या सपोज कोई नेगेटिव सिचुएशन आ रहे, उसको कैसे रिपोर्टिंग करेंगे?
See, most of the authorities have notified the format of the RERA certificate. Okay, it's a mathematical table. Enter the details, enter the data, you will get the number for withdrawal of the application. So that is a mathematical table. Probably we cannot fit everything into a mathematical table. Say an example, you can't say yes or no for a specific question. There may be a case you say that not applicable also. If there is a yes, there is a no, then it can't be answered in both because the situation is a not applicable case. Simple example, before the court, before the judge, the lawyer will ask you, are you stop beating your wife? Can you say yes or no? Options are
Yes.
given only yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Okay. Yes, sir. Either yes or no.
Yeah. If you say yes or no, what is that? In either case, the punishment is guaranteed. Okay.
No, sir.
So
My question is different. Actually, मेरा सर जो क्वेश्चन है, मेरा वो एक्चुअली क्वेश्चन है कि मेरा जो सर्टिफिकेट जाएगा, वो आप जो बोले रेरा का जो फॉर्मेट है, फॉर्म है, वो फॉर्म में तो नंबरिकली टाइप मींस वो नंबरिकली वो ऑटोमेटिकली कैलकुलेट द परसेंटेज दिस बट सीए का जो सर्टिफिकेशन एक एक्चुअली गाइडेंस नोट हिसाब से वो देना है, जो रिपोर्ट, वो रिपोर्ट का एक्चुअल डिटेल कुछ एलाबोरेट करेंगे तो बेटर है। सी
see,
आईसीआई भी गाइडेंस नोट दिया है एक्चुअली वो रिगार्डिंग रेरा क्वार्टरली फाइलिंग, कुछ भी सर्टिफिकेट इशू कोई कर रहा है तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट यू कैन फॉलो द गाइडलाइंस, उसी हिसाब से ही एक्चुअल रिपोर्ट देना।
probably see what happens if you have any non-compliance. Your first job is only to report as part of your disclaimer or the qualification. That is what you should do it. If you observe, this is what RERA mandates to deposit 70% account. The customer has paid, promoter has collected, but he has not deposited into the RERA separate account. You give the disclosure there itself. Yes, instead of 70% deposited, only 30%. You mention 30% deposited, 40% not deposited. Further, if you clear that the promoter has withdrew that money and used it for the purpose of project, that also you elaborate. Customer, the builder has collected the money, not deposited, but however this money is used in the construction purposes. So give as much as factual basis and leave it to the RERA authorities to consider. As of now, we also get a lot of non-compliances because of the inability of the industry to understand and follow it. Number one, professionals are not equipped to advise that. Professionals are compromising in these things. That is a problem. And at least every day, one or other authorities issue a show cause notice to the professional. You have not exercised your work in a way and manner it is there in the act. Because authority will not come to the professional first. The customer, the home buyer make a party, the professional as a party, because he is suffering because of my certificate, where I have allowed him to withdraw the money and use for some other purpose. Hence, the project is suffering. So they're making professionals are a party to it. One of the profession architect has issued the completion certificate in Tamil Nadu, where it was not completed, and they issued a certificate of notice and also filed a police complaint that architect attempted to suicide. So to that extent, this has the impact of this. So please note, give all your notes on the disclaimer qualification, give the facts without hesitation. For before that, you should know RERA. Without RERA, please do not issue CA certificates. That is my humble request. Because on an average, weekly once, one or other chartered accountant across India approached me, sir, I have issued, and their customers have made me a party to the complaint. No, I do not know how do I address this. Okay, those are all the aspects. Many customers, because one more challenge is we generate the UDIN. You cannot say that it is not my certificate also. So those are all the challenges. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Guru. Any other questions, my dear friends?
So I think it's also time. And since there are no new questions, so on behalf of the Association of Corporate Advisors and Executives, I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart CA.Vinay Thyagaraj ji, who has actually given a context of RERA in the beginning and then have taken us through the important requirements and of course has explained why certain things have been inbuilt in the RERA, like the requirement of the agreement, whether it is there is a proper format for that, and all those things which are important in the context of RERA. I think this has been a good learning experience for all of us, and those of you who are already working in this area could get many of your questions solved. I'm sure we will get many more opportunities to listen to Vinayji in the future. And as he promised us, would also be through physical mode here at Kolkata. So, with all these expectations and with gratitude towards the initiator, we end today's program. And friends, we will come up with more interesting topics. A few would be traditional, a few would be relevant for time, and of course, a few futuristic topics in the future. So, with this, thank you everyone. See you in the coming weeks. And thanks once again to Vinay sir.
Thank you, Devanshi. Thank you so much. Thank you, all the audience here, for your patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.